Do you crave exciting sports takes and news? Fed up with the same old boring voices you hear on the radio? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you just might be a TBloomaholic. Lucky for you, it's time for another episode of the TBloom Talk Show, the #1 sports podcast in the world. Settle in, my TBloomanites, because another episode starts right now. Live from TBloom headquarters, here's your host, TBloom.
Get the hell out of the shot. Absolutely. No mistakes today. How we feeling? Are we good? Are we good? All right. Nation! Welcome back to the TBloom Talk Show, folks. I am your host, TBloom. Today we got a special TBloom Talk Show edition. We're at the Arizona corporate offices here in Tempe, Arizona. It's not as hot as you might think. As you can see, I got a sweatshirt on. You're probably like, God damn it, TBloom, why do you have a sweatshirt on? You're in Arizona. What's the point of going to Arizona if you got to put a sweatshirt on? I don't know. But the fact remains, we're here at the corporate offices in Tempe, Arizona, a.k.a. the Papa John Resort and Lodge. Just a beautiful, beautiful scenery out here. Right now, I'm staring at a couple of palm trees. And that's something you don't get to see a lot in Washington, if any at all. So, yeah, it's exciting time to be here. We're in Arizona, the first official TBloom Talk Show in Arizona. Remember a while back, if you guys have been with us for a while now, we did one in Colorado, which is pretty exciting, but time to expand our horizons. But you already know what's coming up today, another Fight Night podcast. This one is going to be an interesting one. We got Petr Yan going up against Merab Dvaliishvili. Definitely not how you say that name. But we'll go over that. That is the card, the Yan versus Dvalishvili card, and we're going to go over every single main card fight. Of course, as you know, I'll give you my predictions, my thoughts, my opinions, my commentary on it, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to give it to you. So settle in. We're going in for another TBloom Talk Show. Let's start it off right now with the first fight of the night. We got Vitor Petrino, 7-0, versus Anton the Pleasureman Turkaji. There's going to be a lot of, but just by the way, there's going to be a lot of names on this card. I will not say right. I'll get better at it as time goes on, right? As I get to learning these people, learning these names, naturally I'll just come to know how to say these names. But for now, I'm going to butcher them, so I'm sorry if you guys are watching out there and you happen to be one of these fighters. I'm sorry I might have butchered your name, okay? Make a name for yourself. Make it easy for me to know your name, and then maybe we wouldn't have this problem. But anyway, starting off, Vitor Petrino versus Anton the Pleasureman Turkash. Vitor 7-0. Anton is 8-1. Here's the tale of the tape. Vitor Petrino, 6'2", 25 years old, 77.5-inch reach. His gym is CM System, and he fights out of Santa Luisa, Minas Gerais, Brazil. God, I suck. That was not even close, I'm sure. He fights out of fucking Brazil. That's the main point. Anyway, Anton, on the other hand, he's 6'4", 26 years old, 78-inch reach, which gives him a 0.5-inch reach advantage, so not much advantage at all there. He fights at the GBG MMA, and he's from Göteborg, Sweden. He's from fucking Sweden. So we got a Brazilian and we got a Sweden coming in and really trying to see who's the better man in this one. Some stats for Vitor. He is on I think he's on a 5-fight win streak. Definitely won his last 3. His last 3 fights have not gone past the second round, so this guy is a guy who's going to take you out and take you out fast. Big, powerful guy. Dude is stacked out of his mind. USADA's got to be looking at him with a wide eye, if you know what I mean. But no. Anyway, yeah, he's 7-0. He's 7-0, so he's obviously on a 7-fight win streak. What am I talking about? On the other hand, you got Anton the Sweden coming off a loss his last one. Really got dominated by Jaltin Almeida, submitted in the first round, just got ragdolled. And Anton is the kind of fighter who isn't going to knock you out. He's a guy who's going to bring you to the ground. I mean, he's sitting here with 2 submissions. He's got 5 KOs, but he's more of a ground fighter, at least in my perspective, what I've seen things. And this is going to be a classic, which style is going to win. The kickboxer who's got massive power in Vitor, or the Sweden, who has a little bit of finesse in his game. You know, he's going to take you down to the ground. He's going to play around with you a little bit. Maybe grab an armbar. Maybe get a triangle. I don't know. But classic mismatch matchup. I'm personally, since I do have a wrestling background and I do enjoy a good grappling fighter, I'm obviously going to give the edge to the guy who's more experienced on the ground, which is Anton the Pleasureman Turkaj. But at the same time, after watching his last fight, he got absolutely steamrolled on the ground. So how good of a ground fighter is he? And then on the other hand, you got Vitor Petrino. Like I said, he's just going to come out and he's going to knock you out more than likely. God dang it, my background went to screensaver mode. Let me change that. Come on. There we go. Yeah, Vitor Petrino, he's going to come out. And by the way, oh my goodness, what is this doing? Why? No, who said that? Who said that? No. Back. Skip the ad and go back. God damn it, technical difficulties, folks. Why would this even be an option? Go back. Oh my goodness. They just want TBloom Talk Show to fail here in Arizona, I guess. No, go back, buddy. Yeah, back. Oh, my goodness. No, do not turn the sound on. I'm so sorry here, folks. This is bullshit. Go back. Jesus Christ. Now pause. God, my cover's blown now. Now you guys know that this isn't like it's just a YouTube video with this in the back, and I pause it, okay? There, my cover's blown. You guys got me. Anyway, like I was saying, none of these fights, I don't come up with my decision on who I think's going to win until as I'm saying it to you guys. So this is a tough one. I was kind of leaning towards Anton coming into this one because he was such a, he's a ground fighter, but he didn't look very impressive his last fight. And Vitor Petrino is just a dog. So I'm going to go Vitor here. And he's sitting at minus 106. There's no favorite really in this matchup. Vitor's a very, very little bit of a favorite. I'm going to go Vitor. Let's say we'll go TKO. We're going to go TKO round one. We're going to go round one TKO for Vitor Petrino. He's going to open up the main card. Very, very exciting. It's going to start it off just right to get you excited for the rest of the fight. This is also Vitor's first fight in the UFC, just by the way, in case you were wondering. But Vitor Petrino, round one TKO. Next fight, we got a Nurmagomedov alert. Saeed Nurmagomedov, 17-2, going against Jonathan the Dragon Martinez, who is 17-4. Saeed is the minus 230 favorite over Jonathan Martinez, who is a plus 195 dog in this one. And yes, he is a dog. If you go out and watch Jonathan Dragon Martinez, any fight, if there's one highlight in any of his fights that you need to see, it's his last fight against Cub Swanson, where he had, it technically was a TKO via leg kicks. He swept this dude's legs out and underneath him and then hit him with a nasty combination. I challenge you. Maybe I'll put it up if I can find a legitimate source to find that video to put up on the podcast. But it is a fucking amazing knockout. One of the more impressive knockouts I've ever seen. Let's do the tail of the tape. Saeed Nurmagomedov, he is 5'8", 30 years old, 70-inch reach. He fights out of Dag Fighter. And, no, that's his gym. His gym is Dag Fighter, and he fights out of Makhachkala, Russia. Again, no idea. There's a lot of Russians on this card, by the way. A little bit of a Russian takeover. Not saying that. This is a bantamweight matchup. On the other hand, Jonathan Dragon Martinez, like I said, 17-4. He's 5'8", 28 years old. He's got a 69.5-inch reach, so just a 0.5-inch reach disadvantage for the Dragon. His gym is Different Breed MMA, and he's fighting out of Plainview, Texas. What else can I say? I mean, Saeed Nurmagomedov, besides the last name, he's not even related to Khabib, so let's put that out there. And just by looking at his last name, you think, wow, this guy's probably a really good wrestler. And he is a really good wrestler, or, a pretty good wrestler. But that's not his strength. His strength is kickboxing. This guy's got spinning back kicks, spinning back fist. This guy's most exciting when he's on his feet, and he's most dangerous when he's on his feet. He can get you with a couple submissions here and there, but he's exciting to watch. He's almost reminds me of Zabit, if you guys know who that is. He's very, very skillful with his legs, can do any kind of strike you want him to. Doesn't have much power, with only 4 KOs in his career. Not a guy that's going to go out and knock you out, but he's a guy that'll piece you up and, work his way into a possible submission after he has you on the ground. But like I said, I really want to stress that his strength is not necessarily wrestling. However, it's his kickboxing ability. With that being said, he's on a 4-fight win streak. One of his most impressive fights was his last one against Saeed Yokub Kakhramonov, where he was losing the fight, completely losing the fight, getting dogged, getting taken down, not really getting into his own rhythm, and then all of a sudden he pulls out a nasty guillotine to win the fight and continue his 4-fight win streak into this one. So just goes to show, if Saeed is out of a fight, if he's losing a fight, that doesn't completely mean you won't be seeing him win the fight, because he's going to keep his mind in the game and he's going to be able to pull off maybe an upset just like that one. Let's make sure this stuff keeps going. There we go. Just to make sure that it keeps flowing, you know what I mean? Pop it back up. There we go. TBloom Talk Show. On the other hand, you got Jonathan Dragon Martinez, who also a very good striker. He's a lot more technical than Saeed. Saeed's a little bit more wild style, wild child. Jonathan's a very technical, straight down the pipe striker. And he has a little bit of a wrestling game too. He doesn't use it very much, but he's not completely new when it comes to the ground. He's not. If Saeed gets him to the ground, he's not going to be just completely useless, helpless. At least in my opinion, from what I've seen. Yeah, I mean, Jonathan's last fight, like I said, against Cub Swanson, I challenge you again to go watch that finish. It is an absolute amazing sequence of events to get out of that fight and to beat a guy like Cub Swanson in that fashion. Very impressive. The last couple weeks, I've been really playing it safe. You know what I mean? Really. Hold on, guys. My battery. Why is that not on? 1 second, guys. Okay, we're on. Well, that was scary. Huh. Okay, anyway. Where was I at? Oh, yeah. I've been playing it really, really, really safe these last couple weeks in my predictions, and it has been turning out good for me, but I don't know. Something feels like Jonathan the Dragon Martinez is going to pull this off, and it is going to be an absolute upset. Anytime a Nurmagomedov loses, that's an upset. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to go with Jonathan the Dragon Martinez, and we're going to go by unanimous decision. That's what we're going to go by. Unam Decij. Jonathan the Dragon Martinez will extend his win streak to a 5-fight win streak and beat Saeed Nurmagomedov. That's what my prediction will be. Next fight, Ricardo Carcasinha Ramos, fucked that one up, versus Austin Lights Out Lingo. Ricardo 16-4, Austin 9-1. Tail of the tape. Ricardo 5'9", 27 years old, 72-inch reach advantage. He fights out of his gym is Team Alpha Male. He fights out of Brazil. I won't say we're part of Brazil because Campinas, Brazil. Maybe that's how you say it. On the other hand, you got Austin Lingo, who is 5'10", 28 years old. He's got a 70-inch reach, which is a 2-inch reach disadvantage for him. He fights out of Fortress MMA, and he is out of Dallas, Texas. So a goddamn gunslinging Southern mother, you know what I mean, Austin Lingo going against a real dominant fighter in Ricardo Ramos. Austin Lingo, he's on a 2-fight win streak. Last 3 fights all went to decision. On the other hand, Ricardo Ramos, His last fight was a nasty TKO against Danny Chavez. It was a spinning back elbow that caught him and really put his fucking lights out. I mean, he followed up with some more shots, but really it was done after that elbow. He lost not his last fight, but his last fight against Zubira Tukhugov. God, I really suck at these names. He lost by that unanimous decision. He's got 4 KOs, 7 submissions, 5 decisions. On the other hand, Austin Lingo, he's got 3 KOs, 2 subs, 4 decisions, and Ricardo is the huge favorite in this one. I think he's minus 400, if I remember that correctly. The minus 400 favorite. And after looking at the film, guys, I literally just watched one fight from either the most recent fight. And I just think Ricardo's leaps and bounds better. He's just better than Austin Lingo. Austin Lingo, he seems a little bit slower. Doesn't seem like he's really came into his own as a fighter quite yet. I mean, he still is only 28 years old, but Ricardo just seems much more smoother, much more precise, confident, faster. I mean, all the boxes he's checking off, and I think this is going to be a really easy one for me. I'm going to go with Ricardo Ramos, and again, it's not breaking any necks when I say that because he is the heavy favorite, but I don't really think there's any point to overthink this one. We're going to go with Ricardo Ramos, and that's all I got to say about that one. Oh, and let me guess. We're going to go Ricardo Ramos, TKO, round 2. And if I'm a betting man, I'm betting that this fight does not go the distance, no matter who wins. All right, next fight. Ryan Spann versus Nikita Krylov. Now, if you were following me weeks back, I think this was the second Fight Night podcast, or I think it was the first. No, it was the second Fight Night podcast I did. This fight was supposed to be the main event a couple weeks back. Didn't happen. Nikita came up with an illness. Something happened. He had to pull out. They didn't cancel the fight completely. They rescheduled it to this Friday. And it's a treat because this is supposed to be a main event, and now it's just another fight in the card. So you got a main event caliber fight coming in the middle of a card. Do you get what I'm saying there? You know, you got a main event caliber fight in the middle of a card. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I'm kind of glad that they got canceled and then now they threw it in this. This is going to be a pretty good card, folks. Ryan Spann, he's the plus 132 dog versus Nikita Krylov, the minus 170 favorite. Nikita is 29-9. Ryan is 21-7. Here's the tail of the tape. Ryan Spann, 6'5", 31 years old, 81.5-inch reach advantage. Also fights out of Fortress MMA, and he's from Beaumont, Texas. I think that's how you say that. On the other hand, Nikita Krylov, 29-9, 6'3", 30 years old, 77.5-inch reach. That's a 4-inch reach disadvantage. We'll see how that comes into play. He fights out of YK Promo, and he is from Donetsk, Russia. Again, another Russian. Really hard to go against Russians in fighting, right? Because they're just so dominant, so lethal, so cerebral. Last time when I picked this fight, I went with Nikita. And I'm going to keep it with Nikita. I think Nikita gets this job done. I thought he was a little bit more... I don't know, because Ryan Spann's a dog too. I mean, I'm going to go with Nikita. And we're going to go with a first-round KO. I think this is going to be a real exciting card. First-round KO for Nikita. However, I wouldn't be surprised if Ryan Spann does win in the same fashion. This is one I say will not go the distance. These two guys are going to go lights out, balls to the walls right away, and there's really no chance that this goes the distance, in my opinion. So if you're a betting man, take it to FanDuel, take it to the casino, wherever you want to go. Bet that this one does not go the distance, and get yourself some free money, courtesy of TBloom. Shout out. And by the way, how'd you guys do on the old John Jones card? Did any of you guys make any bets? Did any of you guys follow old TBloom's advice and take out the mortgage and put it all on Jones? I hope you did. You'd be a very rich man. I know I won a lot of money this weekend. Just goes to show how dominant John Bones Jones is. So this is another lock, though. This is another TBloom lock. Ryan Spann, Nikita Krylov will not go the distance. I'll even put it this way. It won't even touch the third round. There you go. There you go. Big prediction. Big prediction. Next fight of the night, the second to last one, we got a heavyweight matchup, Alexander Drago Volkov versus Alexander Romanov. We got 3 different Alexanders on this card. Pretty intense. This might be the first and only card that's had 3 Alexanders. Anyway, this one specifically is the Battle of Alexander. On one side, you got Alexander Volkov, who spells his name Lexander. Other side, you got an Alexander who spells it Alxandr. No E in there. Wonder if that's a cultural thing. Wonder if that's a thing in, he's from Moldova. Maybe they don't even have E's in Moldova. Actually, they do have an E because there's a, okay, never mind. Cancel that. But anyway, the Battle of Alexes is here. On one hand, you got Alexander Volkov, 6'7", 34 years old, 80-inch reach. His gym is Strela Team, and he fights out of Moscow, Russia. Another Russian. On the other hand, you got Alexander Romanov, 6'2", 32 years old, 75-inch reach. That's a 5-inch reach disadvantage. He fights for the Lion Club Combat out of Corprate, Moldova. Now, after looking at these guys, really sizing them up, getting the details, feeling what they got, what they can do, what they can't do, I'm almost stuck. Because on one hand, you got Alexander Volkov, who's 6'7", a kickboxer. Kickboxes with the best of them. God damn it, dude. Here you go. Kickboxes with the best of them. And on the other side, Alexander Romanov is an absolute grappler. I mean, obviously, if you're heavyweight, you got power, right? You're a big guy, you got strength. But he's looking to take somebody down and really pound him out. He's got 10 submissions on his career. And the heavyweight division, which is a division that does not necessarily exceed in their wrestling ability, a very unskillful division to say the least. I mean, most of these guys are just brawlers. They're boxers, and not much of them have ground game. So for Alexander Romanov, that makes him that much more of a scary sight, in a sense, for other heavyweights to look at, because he's got ground game. I mean, he can keep you down, he can take you down, he can submit you, and he can brawl with you a little bit. But what scares me about this one is that reach advantage. Alexander Volkov got a 5-inch reach advantage, which, man, if he can use that jab to keep away from Alexander Romanov's, from keeping him from closing the distance and getting up underneath his, ribs, taking him down with a bear hug or some suplex or something like that, then I can see him winning it. But I don't know. This is how this fight's going to go. Alexander Romanov will either take Alexander Volkov down in the first round, pound him out, and probably take him out in the first or second round, or Alexander Volkov keeps his distance, tires out Alexander Romanov, and keeps this fight going all the way to the distance, because one thing that Romanov does not have is a gas tank, and we've seen that in his last fight against Marcin Tybura. He really started off strong, took him down, dominated the first round, and then he just got absolutely exhausted. Maybe that's because he was at the elevation at that fight, but he didn't look like he had much of a gas tank. On the other hand, Alexander Volkov's used to fighting in main events. I mean, he's fought in a couple fights where he's went 5 rounds. So it's going to be interesting in that sense. What's going on with my heart? Who do I think is going to win? I mean, man, give me Alexander Romanov. I mean, I just think, although Volkov's frame, although his reach advantage is pretty like big, 5 inches, he's so long and he's so lengthy that Romanov is going to be able to get under him and get to his body really, really easy, I think. And for that reason, I'm going to go with Romanov. We're going to go with a round 2 submission. Round 2 submission by Romanov. That's what I'm going with, and I'm sticking to it. Next fight, the main event card of the evening. Let me redo that. Next fight, the main event card of the evening. Petr No Mercy Yan versus Merab Dvaliishvili. No idea how you say that last name, but I'll learn when I watch this fight. Here's the tale of the tape. Petr Yan, 5'7", 30 years old, 67-inch reach. His gym's RCC Academy. He fights out of Russia. No specific place, just out of Russia. On the other hand, you got Merab Dvaliishvili, who's 5'6", 32 years old, 68-inch reach, gives him a 1-inch reach advantage. His gym is Sarah Jiu-Jitsu, and he's fighting out of Tbilisi, Georgia. So, wherever that is. Shout out to Georgia. Anyway, some interesting stuff, dynamics in this fight that are outside of the stats, outside of the, tail of the tape type stuff. Merab doesn't like Petr Yan. Came out and said he would have fought him earlier if Petr Yan wasn't in a fight. There was a fight night week. They got in an altercation, said he would have pounced on him if Petr Yan wasn't scheduled for a certain fight, something sort of thing like that. Point is, he doesn't like him. He knows out of everything that's going on in Russia and Ukraine, Merab is from a country that's near there where Russia pretty much did something to his country. Now, he's taken this personally. He literally said he's taken this one personally to deliver a win for his country and literally just to beat Petr Yan because he doesn't like him and obviously does not like Russia very much. So, all the motivation in the world for Merab, but that's not to say that Petr Yan doesn't have any motivation because he's on a 2-fight losing streak. One, his last one, to Sean O'Malley, which arguably, especially in my opinion, I thought he won that fight, and I'm a Sean O'Malley fan. I thought he won that fight. He's coming off that loss, and the loss before that, he lost to Aljamain Sterling, where he just got absolutely dominated for fucking 5 rounds. I mean, just Aljamain dominated him, took control of him, took control of his back, the whole fight. So he's coming off a 2-fight losing streak, and I tell you why that's important, because this isn't just any guy. Petr Yan was at the top of the weight class, not even like after the Aljamain, before the Sean O'Malley loss. I mean, this guy was 1, it was Aljamain 1, and then Petr Yan a very, very close 2. Well, not very close, but he was the obvious 2. And before that, before Aljamain, when he beat Corey Sandhagen, it looked like Petr Yan was coming back to maybe get back his championship. My point is that Petr Yan is by no means a guy who he's a lot better than a guy coming off a 2-fight losing streak. Does that make sense for you guys? Am I making sense here? Petr Yan is so much better than what his past 3 fights indicate or capable of. He's a lot more capable of. And that's why this fight's going to be so interesting because Merab, on the other hand, he has all the freaking reason in the world to beat Petr Yan. I mean, he's on an 8-fight winning streak. If he beats Petr Yan, you got to think he's got one more fight away for the belt. I mean, beating Petr Yan's pretty good. I mean, maybe you throw him against Sean O'Malley. I mean, I don't even think, if Sean O'Malley, this is the last guy Sean O'Malley wants to see, because Merab will take you down, and he won't care. He won't care how exciting the fight is. He'll take you down and choke you out and do whatever. I mean, he's got 11 decisions. He doesn't mind the fight going the distance. So it's going to be interesting in that regard. Let me check these odds real quick. I'm almost positive that this is a pretty even fight. FanDuel.com. Remember, if you guys are a betting person or just like, any kind of bet, get that out of my face. Oh my gosh. Don't go to FanDuel, by the way. FanDuel sucks. Their servers suck. I don't know about the odds and stuff like that, but their servers suck. I get logged out of this thing every 5 seconds. And all I want to do is tell you guys the odds of this fight. Okay, here's the odds. Merab is a plus 215 dog. Petr Yan minus 290 favorite. And for that reason and that reason only, we are going to go with the risky business. We're going Merab Dvaliishvili. We're going to go with a unanimous decision. Unam decision. That's it. Merab Dvaliishvili, he's going to put Petr Yan on a 3-fight losing streak, which is going to look interesting, because if Petr Yan's on a 3-fight losing streak, that means you're going to have to put him up against some mid-level guys, and that means it's bad news for some mid-level guys, because Petr Yan's a dangerous fellow. But with that being said, that is the overall UFC Fight Night TBloom Talk Show Petr Yan versus Dvaliishvili episode. I thank you guys for tuning in. It was a very fun one. Here in Arizona, looking at the palm trees, a very relaxing view. I hope you guys get used to it. I hope you guys have a good day. I hope you guys win your bets if you place any. With that being said, I am TBloom Talk Show. I am your host, TBloom. Until next week, until next Friday, before you know it, I'll be back soon. TBloom, out.